How's it going, everybody? We are back with another one-hit wonder video. Now, the last time we did a one-hit wonder video, it was on NFL quarterbacks with a single season. Now, I do read the comments. I appreciate every single one of them. And the last video, we read a comment that Matt Castle should not have been in the list because technically he was a two-hit wonder, not a one-hit wonder. I even mentioned that when I talked about Castle. So yes, that was absolutely correct. He is not a one-hit wonder. He shouldn't have been on the list. So this time, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I list the criteria that I have for being a one-hit wonder in terms of Power 5 football coaches. And there are 4. Number 1, 10-win season. That's pretty much the minimum. 9-win seasons are great. It will still let you win a New Year's Six Bowl or a national, well, not national championship, but a conference championship in some cases, which might count. But if you don't get any kind of championship or any kind of New Year's Six Bowl, a 10-win season would be the minimum. Second, a New Year's Six Bowl. A New Year's Six Bowl is usually reserved for teams with 9 wins during the season or 10 wins. But a New Year's Six Bowl is quite an accomplishment. It is one of those magic seasons for fans. The third, national or conference championship. If you win a national championship and you don't even break the 10-win season mark after that, then I consider that a one-hit wonder. Also, just for the purposes of the video, we're looking for only Power 5 schools. That's ACC, SEC, Big 12, Big 10, and the Pac-12 up until this year, because next year it's not going to count as a Power 5 school anymore. So that's the criteria. So here we are. We are going to list 5 one-hit wonder Power 5 football coaches. Willingham was a position coach his entire career, never a coordinator, but Stanford liked him enough to hire him and make him their head coach. He had a 9-win season in 2001. Only loss was to Georgia Tech in the Seattle Bowl, and that was enough for Notre Dame to make him their head coach in 2002. And to his credit, he took off like a bullet. They were coming off 5 seasons with Bob Davie, who'd won 9 games twice, but went 0-3 in his bowl games. Willingham came in blessed with an already seasoned defense. They had 3 senior defensive backs who would go on and play with the NFL, along with 2 starting linebackers, a junior and a senior, who would also go on to play in the league. The offense, not so much. Won his first 8 games. That includes wins over 3 top 25 teams, including a beatdown of his old team, Stanford. They lost a close one to Ball State, and then they got blown out by USC when Pete Carroll was in his second season building that powerhouse that we would see in a couple years in Los Angeles. And then North Carolina beat them by 2 touchdowns in the Gator Bowl. Now, until they lost to Boston College, Willingham had them in the top 5. And then after that, dropped like a rock. It was clearly a rebuild for Notre Dame, and they had no patience for Willingham after he went 5-7 in 2003, and then 6-5 the next season before getting fired before the Insight Bowl. Now, if it was just Notre Dame, I would say they let him go too soon, but he had his chance to win after that. At Washington, he went 11-37 in 4 seasons. I think it's safe to say that the national title run Auburn made in 2010 had a lot more to do with Cam Newton than it had with Gene Chizik. Auburn was roasted by everybody when they hired Chizik from Iowa State. If you ask any Auburn fan what his record was before he got to Auburn, everybody would know 5-19. Now, they moved on pretty quickly after future U.S. Senator from Alabama, Tommy Tuberville, put up his second losing season. All was forgiven after his second year at the helm. Chizik put up a respectable 8-win season his first year, but in steps Cameron Newton. They went 12-0 in the regular season that included 4 top 5 wins and a win over the head ball coach at South Carolina in the SEC championship game, and then a win over Oregon for the national championship. The Iron Bowl was probably their biggest win by far. They were down 24-7 at halftime, and Auburn came back to win 28-27. Chizik followed it up with an 8-4 season and a win in the Chick-fil-A Bowl over Virginia. And then the bottom fell off in 2012 when Auburn went 0-8 in the SEC and 3-9 overall. Very little patience in Auburn when you don't win a single conference game. So they fired him and they hired Gus Malzahn, who had a much better record against Nick Saban than Chizik did. Chizik went to the booth after that, and he's currently the defensive coordinator for Mac Brown at UNC. Who wins in Kansas football? Well, not Charlie Weiss, not Les Miles, not Turner Gill. In fact, in the entire history of Kansas football since 1906 and the advent of the forward pass, they've only had 30 winning seasons, 2 of them tallying 10 wins. The first was in 1995 with Glenn Mason in the Big 8, and the second was the 12-1 season Mark Mangino put up in 2007. And the problem was he wouldn't win more than 8 games any other season. But what a 2007 season for the Jayhawks. Their schedule did them a lot of favors. An 11-0 start. There was only one top 25 team on that schedule, and they took advantage of Texas A&M and Nebraska, who were having down seasons. And in the last game of the season, with a shot at the Big 12 title against Oklahoma, Kansas lost to Missouri in a game that was known as the Border War at the time. And they topped that off with an Orange Bowl win against Virginia Tech. Now, as with Gene Chizik and to an extent Tyrone Willingham, his success in 2007 set the bar very, very high. And after an 8-win season in 2008 and a 5-win season in 2009, Mangino was let go for Turner Gill, who only won 5 games in his 2 seasons in Lawrence. Will Muschamp's run in 2012 was far better than anything he ever did at Florida. Outside of that 11-2 season, he went 17-19 in Gainesville. He came in with some big shoes to follow after Urban Meyer resigned, citing health reasons, took over an 8-5 team, and he went 7-6 his first year, which included a win in the Gator Bowl over Ohio State. Now, the next season, his only loss was to Georgia, who also went 11-1 and lost to Bama in the SEC championship game. So he beat 4 teams that wound up being ranked in the top 12 in the BCS, including Texas A&M and Heisman Trophy winner Johnny Football. After that, tanked would be putting it lightly. He went from 11-4 in 2012 to 4-8 in 2013. He lost to SEC doormat Vanderbilt at the Swamp and the Gamecocks, coached by the head ball coach, Steve Spurrier. But he still managed to beat Tennessee down in the Swamp. But after a 6-5 season, they cut Muschamp loose. He got another shot, though. When Spurrier decided to hang up the Spurs at South Carolina, they hired Will Muschamp. Didn't get much better for Muschamp. The highlight was a 9-win season, which is better known for this.
Wow. Michigan at the 41. What a hit! Ball's free on the ground. South Carolina deserves to have it, and they do.
Many people don't even realize that Muschamp was the coach of that team. They just know that Jadeveon Clowney hit. Brady Hoke had 2 10-win seasons in his career. One was at Ball State and the other at San Diego State. But at the Power 5 level, which is what this video is all about, he just had 1 magical season and then 3 very, very forgettable ones. Michigan fans were reeling after 3 nightmare seasons with Rich Rodriguez. So when Hoke won his first 6 games, that was much more than anyone expected. He inherited a young team with quite a bit of talent on offense. His wins included Notre Dame and Nebraska in their first year in the Big Ten. Now, here was the best part. The Wolverines snapped a 7-game losing streak to Ohio State. Now, that's enough to get you 3 more seasons in Ann Arbor. And now, after that year, Michigan will lose 8 straight to Ohio State. But for the 2011 season, this was a dream season. Then they beat number 11 Virginia Tech in the Sugar Bowl. Hoke never won a bowl game again at Michigan. And 3 subpar seasons later, he was gone, ushering in the current Jim Harbaugh era in 2015. Well, that's the list. Now, with these coaches, what I have found that their one season raised the expectations so high that they didn't get very long leashes. And when they didn't reach 10 games, or for the most part, 9 games ever again, they were without a doubt a victim of their own success. Well, thanks for watching, guys. We appreciate all the support we get. Be sure to like and subscribe and support the channel. Until next time, have a good one.